Hello. So this video is a kind of a big reveal. Yeah, I've been studying the Shri Chakra, as you might know from the previous videos that I put on my channel. And today has been a sort of a big moment. Yeah, it's been kind of building up since some time. Um, since a few years, since when I developed my conscience, uh, I put the link of the video that I made on that in the description. And then over time, I've been studying the Shri Chakra a little more carefully because it's more like we at least have a point of reference of the Shri Chakra. And then from there, when you're studying something that you're not familiar with, then you can kind of correlate sounds. When I study the Shri Chakra further, I find there are so many points that we haven't been able to see in that itself. Now, today, I'm going to show a little bit of, this I have a background concern. So I'm going to take all the background off. And it's just going to be raw background. Yeah, um, just this. Okay. So here we don't have the concern of the output. Yeah. So we have a few things here that I'm going to point out as possible. Okay. Because there are some things to read out also. Okay. Now the point is, the Shri Chakra has been studied. Now I haven't yet drawn the full version of it. In the sense, it also has the 4 gates. Yeah. And it also has these 3 circles, which I haven't been able to represent because my compass was small. Um, I've had to place an order for a bigger compass. Yeah. So the 3 circles couldn't be drawn, and then the gateways couldn't be haven't been drawn yet. But already there is so much information here that it would be a crime not to share. I also say that because um, I drew the Shri Chakra on my conscience, yeah, which has the bindu, and 10 concentric circles that I call as my spheres of influence. Okay. And inside the bindu are 2 circles, which I call as little me and big me. Yeah. Like the um, little me and big me. And then each of the concentric circles in what I call as my conscience has a certain gravitas of the matter. It's like saying I, mine, UI, like in user interface. That's one way to look at it. You, yours, we, us, ours, we, which is me plus we. Yeah. So those are the names I've given for the spheres of influence in my conscience. And there is further development from there. I haven't fully represented it yet. But when I draw the Shri Chakra on my conscience, at least that is the 10 circles, spheres of influence, I find pretty interesting details about the Shri Chakra, which may not otherwise have been possible. I also say this because I'll put the video where there is a certain explanation about the Shri Chakra further from a learned scholar. And in that, they are describing about the Shri Chakra in specific ways. For example, he's saying that when you're appreciating the Shri Chakra like this, like a 2-dimensional image, it's called the Shri Chakra. And when you're appreciating the Shri Chakra like a 3-dimensional image, then it's called the Mahameru. And then when the Shri Chakra itself is a form of pictorial representation of the Devi. And the Devi has 4 aspects or 4 spheres of influence, so to speak, 4 areas. So the gateways are kind of representing those 4 big spheres of influence. Yeah. And then when you're, in that sense, there is 4 there. Yeah. And when you're appreciating the Shri Chakra from the Kundalini, then it's a 1-dimensional experience. Yeah. It's a one-dimensional appreciation of, I cannot say universe, but probably it's about Shrishti, creation. Yeah. Where Devi is also as a form of the mother. Yeah. Now, okay, so 4 spheres of influence or 4 dimensions, so to speak. Yeah. 4 dimensions. In 3 dimensions, it would be called as a Mahameru. So that's what that scholar has said. Now, and each of the, now I'm calling it as chakra because I've represented, this is the 2-dimensional image. So each of these circles are called different names. Yeah. And so I'm just going to call that out. I'll put the link to that video in the description, but that's not what the big reveal about this video is. Yeah. Now, the outermost gate, the 4 gateways, and the 3 circles, where there is 3 concentric circles, which would be here, are called as, it's called the first avarana, and its name is Trilokya Mohana Chakra. Yeah, both the gateway plus the 3 circles, concentric circles, are called the Trilokya Mohana Chakra. The 16 petal circle, yeah, has been called the Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra. Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra. The 18 petal circle has been called Sarva Samkshobhana Chakra. Sarva Samkshobhana Chakra. Yeah. And in the video, they're saying the 16 petal one is where you have all your desires, and yeah. So you're addressing your desires by the 16. And the 8 chakra petal, the 8 petal chakra has been called as the problem. When you have desires, you then bounce off with problems, and then so then there's and then in addressing the problem, and then you have another desire, and then you address. So that's been how it's described. Then there is the 14 triangle circle, which has been called as Sarva Saubhagyadayaka Chakra. Yeah. And then there is the 10 triangle circle, which has been called as Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. Yeah. Then there is another 10 triangle circle, which has been called as Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. And then there is an 8 triangle circle, which has been called as Sarva Rogahara Chakra. Yeah. And then there is one triangle in the center, which has been called as Sarva Siddhi Prada Chakra. And then there is the Bindu, which has been called, where is this? Bindu has been called, okay. 1 minute, I've written it somewhere. Okay, yeah. Sarvanandamaya Chakra. Sarvanandamaya Chakra. Okay, the Bindu has been called Sarvanandamaya Chakra. Now, the big reveal, there probably would have been a oh eureka moment, yeah, is that people have been studying the Shri Chakra since some time. Yeah. And the outer one has been called as, again, what? Trilokya Mohana Chakra. It's also been called as the space. Yeah, the gateways have been called as a space, and the 3 concentric circles have been called as time, which means time is inside space. When there is space, time has relevance. Yeah, that sense. And these are all different constructs to represent several aspects about time and space. Having said that, the point of contention or the aha moment I've had about this is I have represented I've drawn the Shri Chakra on my conscience. That is 10 spheres of influence. I drew that 10 spheres of influence with 6 lines crossing. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6. But so when you look at each line, it has 2 arms. So in total, there are 12 arms. Yeah. 6 lines, each line having 2 arms. So 12. Today, what I did is I put 24. That means I put 6 more lines and each of those lines again have 2 arms. So 24 arms. The Ashoka Chakra has 24 arms. Yeah. That is 12 plus 12. The 16 petal chakra plus the 8 petal chakra gives you 24. Okay. Transposed upon my conscience, that is when you put it on the Ashoka Chakra, there is a very relevant, significant set of solutions available. Because when we say 24 bar 7, there is a 24 that we're talking about. This 14 triangle chakra, which has been called the Sarva Saubhagyadayaka Chakra, yeah, has also reference to the Brahmas. There has been reference to 14 Brahmas. Yeah. And if you consider this as the equator, we have 7 plus 7, which means each side has 7. And when we say 24 bar 7, and when we consider a body has 7 dhatus, and when we consider a body as nature and nurture composite, if you just consider by nature, there are 7 dhatus. We're not even considering nurture dhatus. Yeah. So 24 bar 7 has a reference here in this chakra. Then further, the 16 petal chakra has been called, Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra, desires. The 8 petal chakra has been called one minute. Okay, 1 minute. 8 petal chakra has been called, Sarva Samkshobana Chakra, or problems. Or you face problems, or you have problems represented in this chakra. Sarva Samkshobana Chakra. When I inquired about this from the 24 arm representation of my conscience, I found that the 8 petal chakra has an upward petal and a downward representation. So if you only consider the petal to be outward facing and do not consider the dip here in between petals, we are missing a huge bit of information that is there as a solution to fulfilling the desires. Why we can sometimes consider this as problem, why we have problems in life. Also, WHO's list of diseases, we have several real world problems, is because there are, now the Upanishads talks, I'll come to that. There are 16 factions, 16 petals. It must be remembered that the Shri Chakra bounces off of a one-dimensional experience. When we regard the Shri Chakra from the Kundalini perspective, there is just one dimension. Yeah. And then people have been talking about the Kundalini awakening and those kinds of things. Yeah. The Upanishads speak about 16 factions which needs to be active for us to be able to understand the Vedas, recite the Vedas, even to utter the Vedas the way it needs to be. For example, if you don't have sufficient food or sufficient water, you may not be able to recite the Vedas. And Vedas are weaves. For example, we have even religious texts. There are several, at least it's been called as the principles, the laws, and the teachings. Yeah, are said to be three ways by which religion is appreciated in different texts. There are texts, but religion also has bounce off of from Guru's teaching. For example, different people teaching. There were laws and principles by which the religion is formed. Yeah, and then there are texts from where there is reference. Yeah, so there is a continuity of thought lines, and there is material from which to bounce off of. So 16, so if we consider as Vedas and any text or any religion to be a weave of several complementary factors, at least three factors. So you could say, okay, in one way, okay, we cannot really say that three concentric circles are the three weaves, but let's just consider that there are three aspects to it. Yeah. Now, I call it as me, and me. Yeah. Little me, big me, and capital M, capital I, like my world. So me, little me, big me, and my world. So my world is like we call, we name the Bindu. And then from there is 10 spheres of influence. So if we consider the first one as me, as capital M, capital I, then from there, it's my world. So the first circle is my, and inside my is me, little me and big me. Why do I mention this? Is that way also, that's also one way to look at, there are three factors. So if you consider the concentric circles to be a time representation of me, and me. Yeah. Why do I also say this is, in that video by that scholar, he says several people have been studying the Shri Chakra, and each of them have been claiming that their version is the perfect one. But nobody really knows, he says, on what the real representation of the chakra is, on what is a perfect version of the Shri Chakra. When bouncing off of this, I'm finding more information coming from here. And also in regards to when he says, from the Kundalini, when you're appreciating the matter, the Shri Chakra is just one dimension. Yeah. So if you consider me, and me, I'm just thinking from, why I say this is, my conscience was represented from a person-centric model of the universe. Yeah. So not earth-centric model, not heliocentric model, from a person-centric model of the universe. And my conscience is a pictorial representation of how I've been seeing life, also bouncing off of, for example, the Upanishads, different textbooks, movies, news, and what has been regarded as true and sustaining over time. Yeah, what sustains the test of time. So those kinds of values. So I have this idea. Several people have been attempting to capture fragments of an unknown wisdom. It's been called fragments of an unknown wisdom. Yeah. So here's another attempt, but I'm finding further information available from studying from this perspective. Yeah. So I'm talking from that, the information that has become available, and consequently, what solutions this may offer. Yeah. That has different people think in terms of this. Why did I say all of this is, I did something when I represented the Shri Chakra on the 24 bar, 24 arms. And that is to color code the 24. So once I drew the 24 arms, I extended it outside. You see here? It's like a big grandfather clock. Yeah, 24 bar, it's a 24 clock. And I color coded it. the Ashta Digbandhana, which has Yama down here. Oh, right. Okay. Yama, Kubera, yeah. Varuna, Indra, Vayu, Ishana, Nirarti, Agni. I coded it with the yellow. I was thinking Ashtanga yoga and so yellow, and then keep the, they also do Surya Namaskar. So it's about to keep the, sun, the star, it's like Star Trek, keep the light all bright and nice and shiny. Yeah. So I represent it. It also bounces off of my enterprise's values. Yeah. So I've been thinking about movementless yoga or Nirbija yoga, I call it, healthy natural breathing, in terms of a yellow. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, keep the light all bright and shiny. Yeah, that way. So, and then the 6 that I started this with, yeah, the 6 first lines that I started that with, I extended those lines, yeah, and coded it with a red, pinkish red. That's the color I have, yeah, coded that with a red. And then the additional lines, the second set of 12, there is another set of 6 with 2 arms each, that I coded with a blue. Okay. And I found some interesting factors here. The blue flanks comes on either side of the yellow in all 4 directions, up, down, left and right sides. The blue flanks the yellow. Okay. And the 4 directions, 90-degree directions. The side yellows, yeah, which is like the diagonal sides, is flanked by the red dots. Okay. So each of the 4 quadrants have a saptak. Like sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Each of the 4 quadrants. Okay. But what's more interesting is, I particularly want to mention about this one, the 16 and the 8. After coding it this way, yeah, when you look at the dip, now we have WHO's list of diseases. We have been doing yoga since some time. Yeah. It's a bit kind of like my peeve to say they even stand on their head. Yeah. Maybe to contemplate on the matter. So, okay, all that aside. Probably my peeve is, in spite of doing all of this, we have WHO's list of diseases. I found a reason for why that is so. When we say Ashtanga yoga, there is a ha and a tha, the visible and the invisible. We don't have such a positive attitude to the negative. We have the idea of the particle and the antiparticle. Yeah. People are still searching for the dark photon. Light photon has been discovered. Dark photon hasn't. Yeah. WHO's list of diseases is also coming from our inability to deal with the negative or the antiparticle. Yeah. Or God is all good, devil is not so good. Yeah. And we have a lack of perspective on what the devil is. So in terms of the book of Genesis, Garden of Eden, God and Satan, yeah, are seen as complementary opposites. You don't see it as complementary opposites. They just like this. But Satan has been said to be a fallen angel, which means has been a pet of God, very, very closely related. And then, so who's the God, who's the angel? Yeah. Why I say this is there are some references that the angel has 2 faces. Yeah. And that is not quite understood as much. So they all go angel because they don't know there are other, there's another facet to the whole development. And then there are many stages of development of the angel. Now, the point which is missed is a human body also has a scapula. which is where the wings would have been. Yeah. And you would say, oh, fallen angel. Yeah. Drop from, so there's this movie called, it's not Sex and the City. Is it? Okay. City of Angels. City of Angels. There they're talking about an angel who kind of falls from a tall building and then to have a human life. Because they can taste food. Humans can taste food, which these apparently not having human body people cannot taste. Yeah. So there are some people who like to eat a lot because they may have been an angel. Yeah. Just born and then, they can eat food really, really good. Point is, as humans, maybe a solution to problems which the universe has not been able to solve with the angels or gods or demons. So humans are also created to be able to solve the problems which gods, demons, angels, what have you, have not been able to solve. So humans are an evolutionary advantage. When we are doing what human beings are capable of doing, when we are doing the right things, that's when life enlivens in the multiverse. Life is a for-profit enterprise. Humans are life's pet project. From a person-centric model of the universe, you would see how this is so much more true because the Shri Chakra makes so much more sense from this perspective. Yeah. And from this perspective, when we are looking at the Shri Chakra, yeah, and looking at the 8, Ashtanga Yoga has a few side effects. Yeah. It's like saying there's a solution, but the solution itself has a problem. And those problems may not have been able to be addressed earlier, which is why WHO's list of diseases has been continuing. While there have been resolutions, many ways, there have been some which haven't been able to address because the solutions themselves have been contributing to the problems. And that is represented by the 8 petal chakra. That's why it's been called, 1 minute, Sarva Samkshobana Chakra. Yeah. And why I say this is the 8 petals are up with the 16 petals at some points. They are going together with it. The 16 petal also has this upward. Yeah. Up. The 8 is in alignment with some of the 16 petals. And at some points, it is opposite. Yeah. Where it is in alignment with, I have not looked very carefully because, yeah, it's working. Because your yoga is working. Your Ashtanga yoga, it's working. And at some points, it is not. It is opposite. So you have desires, but what the 8 petals have to offer is opposite. So that's like saying the male and the female, yeah, are in some way looking in 2 different directions. It's like the Shri Chakra. One is this side, one is that side. It's like phototropic and gravitropic. North is one direction for one set, and north is in another direction for the other set. Yeah. So for some people, heaven is in one direction. For another set, heaven is in another direction. Yeah. Or consequently, we call one set as God and the other set as devil. While as for the other set, the devil is a god and the god is a devil. Yeah. That gives rise to many confusions. That's from not being able to see things in perspective. The perspective the solution is also offered, yeah, in the Shri Chakra. When you represent it in terms of the color codes. Yeah. Now I've been thinking the red color code is for healing, health improvement. And the blue is for dharma, where you're doing your duties. It's like, so we have the 10 chakras, the 10 triangle circles. One is for, okay, one is called, what do we put in? 4, 5. Okay. Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. So that's like to Artha, okay. There's this reference of earth, E and then ARTH. It's like earth, E earth. That's one way to look at it. Another is to look at it in terms of okay. What's that phrase again? Dharmasya moolam artha. Yeah. So there's this phrase there. So when we say, so I've kind of represented the 10, I'm not quite representing the 10 triangle circle as dharma, but at least in terms of artha. So they're already calling it artha. So blue as in the actions you do, you could have a lot of contemplations, but if you don't take action, then you're not having the kind of results that you would like. So karma in that sense. So there's dharma and there's karma. So I associate the 10 triangle inner circle as the dharma and the 10 triangle outer circle. Okay. Let's call this as the karma as in also kriya or Krishna. Yeah. So in that sense, the 10 triangle inner circle would also be like there's a Dasha Mahavidya, for example. Yeah. There are 10 Vayus. We will get into those details further. Yeah. On how I've been able to and live in life in the multiverse based on the practice of what I call as healthy natural breathing. Yeah. But if we consider, so I have represented the healing factors from having a body that's human in red and the action-based results in blue. Yeah. So the first 6 that I represented, that I drew my conscience with, I represented with red. And then the new 6 that I represented to form the 24, I represented with blue. Yeah. And the point is, the 8 petal chakra is having a dip at the red dot lines. The red dot lines, when I kind of trace it back to where this is starting from, the dips of the 8 petal circle is corresponding with the red dot lines. Also, these points where at these dips is also the point where the 16 is in variance. One is going in one direction, the dip is in the other direction, which means there is a difference in perspective between what is desired and what is seen as the solution. Yeah. But it's like, let's just say there is love. Yeah. We talk about falling in love. But it's also, we have many ways of thinking. And it's like falling in between the cracks. So we have solutions, but not all solutions are contained. Some of the solutions are leaking through the cracks. And so we continue to have problems, which means I call it the chaddi, the basic fabric of time space. When there is ruptures, or there is not sufficient repair, or there is a lack of perspective, we have leaks in the system through where we have the white web and the dark web, or the white net and the dark net. Each in existence because there are problems not solved or not able to be solved. So in their own ways, through the cracks in the system, they find solutions and somehow finding ways to keep it together in their own ways. Yeah, have things work. And we have WHO system diseases and a whole set of real world problems. Yeah. It's from not seeing the Shri Chakra in perspective, what it's already offering. For example, when we work in terms, okay, so when we work in terms of the dips and the desires, that is the desires and the problems, yeah, which are actually having solutions. When co-referenced with the 14 triangle circle, which is called the Brahma circle. I tend to call it the Brahma circle because we have the reference to 14 Brahmas. And then there we have the Dashavatara, which is outer, it's called the Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. I tend to call it as Dashavatara. And the Sarva Rakshakara Chakra, I tend to call it as the Dashami. Dashavatara, Dashami. And then we have the Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, the 8 is Sarva Rogahara. Sarva Rogahara Chakra. Yeah. So we have solutions to rogas. Roga is also like doorways. Yeah. It's like Durga. We would like to go through problems, but it's like a tiny one. Yeah. And it's not like you got to be small enough. We may be a little too, yeah. And we're not able to see things in perspective. Yeah. You're a little too big and not small enough to be humble. One way to look at it. Another one is we are not able to be I. Our individuality, our lower self, to be nothing enough. Otherwise, we are too significant. Yeah, that that we are not humble enough, kind of meek enough to do the work that needs to be done. So there's this reference that says, everybody knows something. Yeah, would like something to be done, which anybody could have done, but expect somebody to do it, but nobody ends up doing it. So we have real world problems and all kinds of things. So I tend to call it as hell, or we transpose it. It's called heal, Hell. He will. He'll do it. He'll do it. Yeah. Who's to blame? They. Yeah. They're like he or somebody else. So I call it hell. We see hell as heal. We are having the problems we have because who will do it? He'll do it. Somebody else. He. We see that word in that way. And hence we are not able to come out of the problems we have. The kind of what a person, when they own up the matter and do the necessary, we have the Shri Chakra to be able to solve those concerns. Then we come out of existential angst and different kinds of problems and different real world problems that's there. Each of us would be a leader in owning up to doing what it takes to solving the problem. We also have WHO system diseases. So Sarva Rogahara Chakra, and then we have Sarvanand, Sarva Siddhi Prada Chakra. So when we are doing the right things, owning up to the matter, then we have Siddhi or achievement. Yeah. And then from having sufficient achievement of the matter, we have Sarvanandamaya Chakra. You say bliss, yeah, or a state of wellness, like the frog in the well. Yeah. Where you don't have to go out of your islands. For example, fly off to Mars. Yeah. To find health, wealth, wisdom. Because Earth is enough as a place, as an island, from where we can live in life in the multiverse. Yeah. People are all looking for signs of life in different planets and stars and galaxies and all kinds of places. from Earth, when we're doing the work that's possible from having a body that's human, it's possible to live in life in the multiverse because the universe kind of went inside out. Yeah. And Earth has been turning around the matter and so well that we have life showing up on Earth. But other planets are yet to figure that out. Yeah. So we got to help our um, planets and stars and galaxies and different family members. Yeah. Particles, radicals, in knowing how to keep it together in such a way that they have life and continue to have life and sustainably have life, which is why our body is designed the way it is. We're not, we're not designed to die. We're designed to live. And our body has circadian rhythms, has cyclical processes by which the cells can go through poiesis and apoptosis. We don't have to die. We don't have to go through these birth death cycles. When we regularly are borning and dying from our own bodily composition, one of the consequences of yoga is sukha and dukkha. From not knowing how to metabolize the matter, which is represented by the vayu. Ashtadigbandhana, there is vayu. Yeah. When our vayus, 10 vayus, for example, are functioning well enough, then we are able to metabolize precipitates from sukha and dukkha. Yeah. That is also available through the Shri Chakra when we are working from further details that is available in the Shri Chakra. So I've been living life from here. So I have healthy natural breathing. I have course correction counseling. I have on-table healing work. Yeah. So mythological. So you're regularly going through the Dashami, Dashavatara cycles. Yeah. So how to maintain the developmental phases without going through diseases. Yeah. And then community harmonizing activities. So how to bring, so we have like a deck of cards. A deck of cards is at least 4 houses. Now I'm seeing each quadrant here has 7 notes, the saptak, the 7 musical notes. And then I'm finding the circle of fifths, the 5th circle from here, yeah, can contain the circle of fifths. There are 12 notes there, but I'm finding there is 2 more which needs to be included. So I'm developing on the circle of fifths. I think there is further addendums, additions there, because I'm talking in terms of Mukambika raga. Yeah. And we have the Katapayadi Sankhya talking about 72 ragas. Now I'm finding there is more than that. Yeah. Because I found a little problem. One, a set of musical notes is not represented in the Katapayadi Sankhya, which means an exception to a rule proves the rule that, it's not complete. There is something more further there. So I'm also paying attention to the exceptions and then seeing what just slipped from the cracks. Yeah, what just missed. So where is this missed thing? Yeah. So I'm finding there are so many things. So it's like fragments of an unknown wisdom. So we have some more details here. So I will make the matter clearer further. If you would like, with further videos and further developments. There is one thing that I have happened to notice. I've been putting up these videos, but it's people who interact with me, who gain the real world, who gain benefits in a way that simply watching the videos do not make available. Because how they're able to appreciate the matter, how they're able to incorporate, or in some way, people who have paid me and then are interacting with me in sessions, in discussions, when they're watching these videos, the material that they're able to appreciate from the videos is different from those who haven't paid me. So money as an energy has a certain effect on our human composition. So when we say dharmasya mulam artha, yeah. So maybe there is something about the influence of money on our composition and our conscience, in how we function. So I invite you to try this out. Contact me. Try a paid session with me and then see how you're able to consume the matter, how you're able to appreciate the matter that I'm making available through these videos. Yeah. Meanwhile, I put this up for those who are able to make sense of this matter, because the Arcturians are said to have said those who have eyes to see and ears to hear will respond. So I'm putting this up for those who can make sense of what I'm talking about here and find solutions to real world problems. We are all on the same planet. So we got lots of work to do as it is. Yeah. So thank you so much for your kind attention. And thank you so much for your interest. Good day.